playing, Tim. As everybody's settling in, find a good spot. So happy to see you all tonight. Everybody get ready to sing and get ready to pray. Here we go. Joyous to see all of you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hanukkah Sameach.
Sameach.
We are going to mostly just be singing and reveling. So please join us in the singing and reveling and clapping, making a joyful noise.
Mostly the reveling.
Yes.
We should also note, those of you who are watching from home, in the sanctuary we've got these slides with all of the words. The slides are on the website as well. So there's a link there for you to be following along with PDF so you can see all the words. We encourage you to sing along with us at home. Get up and dance along with everybody else, because I think there's going to be some of that dancing, right? I hope there's some dancing.
Could happen.
Right? Oh, yes, I'm seeing dancers. They're right there.
Where Shabbat will take us.
Okay. Let's see where Shabbat takes us.
Not by might, not by power, but by spirit alone shall we all live in peace.
Bye.
these important words that we read on Shabbat and of Hanukkah, and the power and the spirit of Hanukkah that we take into this amazing Shabbat together. Again, Shabbat Shalom. It is so wonderful to see people in the sanctuary. And we know that people are watching us. What better time to really open the sanctuary again than on Hanukkah, on Shabbat of Hanukkah. We're adding more and more light and more joy. It is so good. As we do the beginning of every service, if you want to turn around to somebody that you don't know, wish each other a Shabbat Shalom, you might have to, scream across a couple of rows. Introduce yourself. If you're online, send a Shabbat text. We still do this. We're so lucky we have technology. Send a Shabbat Shalom text to somebody that you're thinking of. It is so good to be together. That this is a different kind of service, full of joy and maybe a little kitchen. But we're blinking just a little bit to bring more smiles. As we say, we want to see singing and dancing and clapping and just really being able to release the weight of the world for a few moments to really welcome in the light of Shabbat. It's hard to release the weight of the world.
We can do it.
And we are supposed to do that on Shabbat. So we breathe in and we breathe out. We let it go for this time to really settle into the joy. And we are going to bring a lot of light that we all bring with our spirits, but so much light. We're going to light our Hanukkah, and we're not celebrating one, we're celebrating two B'not Mitzvah this weekend. We are so very lucky. So we're going to invite up to our Bima and the Bushes family, Matilda Hartman's family. If you would come join us, we're going to have the Bushes on this side, on this side. Walk up this way. Come up.
There's a lot of wires.
There's a lot of wires. There's plenty of room. Come join us.
Wires just come around. That's awesome.
Right here is clear.
This is supposed to be great. We're going to do great. Watch yourself.
We're going to do Hanukkah.
Come on, welcome.
So, as the families are coming up, the first thing, of course, that we do is we're going to light the sixth candle for Hanukkah. So,
I'm sorry.
we will. What's happening?
Sorry, Sean.
That's okay. We'll all be at each other's simchas, right? So. Everybody just hang loose while we do the Hanukkah blessings. Here we go. Rabbi Joseph is going to help us with the lighting. Take your time, take your time.
Come on up. This is a great, good place right here.
Okay. There we go. Yes. And the Hanukkah blessings. We're going to continue bringing in more light with the Shabbat candles. So we'll have Matilda and Emma light the candles and then say the blessings. finish up there, or someone can hold for them as they turn to page 5.
Please rise. Okay.
And a 1, 2, 3. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu haolam borei peri hagadol.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu haolam asher tishanu mitzvotav ve'atzavanu v'shabbat kodsho.
We can all take a seat for a moment. So you might get inspired to jump up again. We'll continue welcoming Shabbat with the Hanukkah Blessings, but a different melody. You might still recognize it, the melody of the season.
Bye.
call to prayer and our food.
Let us all with joy now feel the light of Hanukkah on this sixth night, and with each new flame flickering pure and strong, may we be renewed as we sing our song. La 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 la.
Together as we close our eyes and we focus in on listening to Shema. God is everywhere. God is one.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem
there might be some dancers. Feel free to be inspired. A little love out of that.
band.
amazing.
We should introduce the band. We've got Tim Bridner on keys, Jonathan Meek on banjo and violin, Ben Sandler on bass, Arthur Steinhorn on drum. We've got Kim Schneiderman on guitar and vocals, and we're going to be, what's that called? Debuting a brand new composition that Kim wrote a little bit later, Cantor Rena Green. Rabbi Joseph on the very cool vocals that she's doing. Rabbi Kahana, guitar and his vocals.
Get right away, Kahana!
I know we usually do that at the end of the service, but it feels like I want you to know who all these amazing people are that are giving of their ruach, of their spirit, to make it such a beautiful service. So, we know that with Mi Chamocha, we always change the tune to the Mi Chamocha to reflect the season. So we're going to hear the Maus Sur melody of Hanukkah under the Mi Chamocha. It's kind of a somber melody, and I also know that sometimes Mi Chamocha is a time we want to just be joyful. It's our redemption song. So I would say, you know, if there's anybody that just wants to get up and do like a very stately march for the Mi Chamocha, rather than a wild dance, that'd be awesome. Like the Maccabees. Or you could just, you couldn't yourself. That's terrible march. I tried. Here march works.
So we're talking about the length. There's lots of stories of Hanukkah. We say, depending on what age you are, we tell you different stories. But there is the sort of what age it is. So I can feel, sometimes you wonder where that nusach comes from and where the melody comes from, but you can really feel it with the music of there's the military, the sacred feeling. I did feel the sacred feeling. That's good. Now we're going to rise for tefillah. Please be seated. So while we are in this section of our prayer service and our tefillah on Shabbat, when it's all about joy and gratitude, we are going to also celebrate not only Hanukkah, not only B'nai Mitzvah, not only light and joy, but birthdays. Those December,
What month are we?
Where are we? We are in December.
Those Kislev birthdays.
Those exactly the Kislev birthdays. Those December birthdays. If your birthday is in December, come join us up on the pulpit for a blessing and a treat. Happy birthday, December birthdays.
Just watch the wires.
Watch the wires. Watch the wires.
It's your birthday. Happy birthday.
Oh, I love all this.
There's so many birthdays.
Everybody. December is a popular month. That's if you're This causes a sound. God of our ancestors, God of our descendants, we thank you for this wonderful time. We thank you for the opportunity to celebrate birthdays and to be together as a community safely. We pray that we can continue to rejoice in all of the gifts that you bring to us. May we be more filled with light, and may we help to be a light to others.
Shabbat
anybody would like a little bit of Hanukkah chocolate?
In moments of joy and in our tradition, we often hold contradictory emotions, and that we are told to hold the joy and the sadness together. And so while we can be joyous and we celebrate, and especially I think at times of celebration like Hanukkah, we think about those who are no longer with us, those that we wish were still around our Hanukkah table, those recipes that we might be making this season that were passed down from generations. We look around at people that might have been named after somebody that is no longer with us. And so while we are holding the joy of this time and adding the light, we're thinking about those lights that are no longer in our life physically, but there will always be a light in our life. They will always be in our hearts. They will always be influencing how we move in the world. So we're actually going to take a moment now for Kadisha Tom, for our mourner's Kaddish. And do you mind? So we think of those in our community most recently passed: Marion Jaffe, Steve Cantor, Gilda Oster, Josephine Shabbat. And those whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of their death, fall this time: Valerie Alia, Harry Lewis Barron, Ida Bergman, Sally Bilo, Robert Blank, James D. Bromberg, Alice Luck Kahana, Samuel Shaimov, Regina Cohen, William Cohen, Adrian Darnell, Theodore B. Davidson, Arnold Diane, E. Frida Dabro, Alan Robert Duncrack, David Finkelstein, David Frisch, Betty V. Goldman, Ann Granger, Nancy F. Green, Matthew Henkin, Beth Israel, Edward Jaffe, Samuel Joseph, Solomon Katz, Edith Kessler, Daniel Kibble, Arthur Koenig, Robert Kreifel, Ruth Liebenstein, Max Malkin, Susan Marcus, Nettie Margulis, Rose M. Radding Marks, Leonard Meeker, Robert J. Newberger, Samuel Oldstein, Barney Papik, Rita Cantor Perlmutter, Barbara Prebish, Rita P. Rosby, Oscar Asher Rosen, Jane Rosenbaum, Miriam F. Rosenfeld, Louis A. Sadich, Anna Salzman, Thelma Schnitzer, Nathan Shapiro, Rachel Shaw, Joan Sitwell, Polly Spiro, Minnie Spivak, Lillian Sugarman Cohn, Keats K. Vinig, Dorothy Warner, Yvette G. Wheel, Stella Weiss, Margie Winkler, Albert A. Woolach, Arthur Zaks, Eleanor Zussman. If you're also in a period of mourning or honoring the memory of a loved one, or I mispronounce your loved one's name and you'd like to share with the community, please do so now. We honor all of their memories as we rise for Kadisha Tom. Yitgadal Yitkadash Shmei Rabbah. Ve'alma Divrach Virtei Yamlich Malchutei. V'chayechon V'yomechon. V'chayei Nechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'alala V'zman Karim Yimru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah V'varach Le'olam L'olmei Almaya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitraman V'yitnaseh. v'et hadar, v'et halev, v'et halal, shemed kusha b'rechu. Leila mikol birchata b'shirata, tushbachata b'nechemata, dan biran bi'alma v'yibru. Amen. Yehi shlam rabba bin shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yibru. Amen. Oseh shalom v'ramav, u'yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yibru. Amen. The one who creates harmony on high, bring peace to us, to all Israel, to all the world, to which we say, Amen. May all of their memories be for our blessing. Please be seated, and we'll take a moment now for our own private prayer and private meditation. Just a moment to think about all of those memories and to think about the light that we want to bring into the world.
Oops. Oops. Are we all comfy? The vodka who couldn't stop screaming. A Christmas Story by Louise Stickett. This story ends in somebody's mouth, but it begins in a tiny village more or less covered in snow. The snow had fallen during the long night, during which children had pressed their faces to the windows looking for a glimpse of a man who they suspected of bringing them wonderful gifts. But instead, they heard a terrible noise from a certain cottage in the neighboring arrondissement, a word which here means a place where something was being born. This cottage was already regarded with some suspicion, as it was the only place not decorated with flashing colored lights at this time of year. The thing that was being born was a latke, a word which here means potato pancake. Latkes are a traditional part of the celebration of Hanukkah, a holiday commemorating a miraculous Jewish military victory. Now, nearly everything in this world is born screaming, and the latke was no exception. Even though the latke wasn't conceived and born the way that you and I were conceived and born, but instead was fashioned from grated potatoes, chopped onion, beaten eggs, and a dash or two of salt. Once these ingredients were properly mixed, the latke was slapped into a pan full of olive oil heated to a very high temperature, and that is when it began to scream. The latke was suffering so much that it leapt out of the hot pan and out the window of the cottage and began to run screaming down the boulevard. Now, this may seem to be unusual behavior for a potato pancake, but this is a Christmas story in which things tend to happen that would never occur in real life. The latke ran past a row of flashing colored lights which hung from the rain gutters of a less suspicious cottage. "What's all the ruckus?" the lights asked in unison. "We're the ones that are supposed to be dominating the neighborhood with our cheerful glow." "I was just thrown into a pan of boiling oil," the latke cried in reply. "Can you believe it?" "Yes," said the flashing colored lights, "but we can't imagine why." "Because I'm a latke," said the latke. "The olive oil reminds us of the oil used to rededicate the temple following the defeat of Antiochus at the hands of the Maccabees. The oil was only supposed to last for one night, but there was a miracle and it lasted for 8. Plus, frying makes my skin crispy and brown." "So, basically, you are hash browns," said the flashing colored lights. "Maybe you could be served alongside a Christmas ham." "I'm not hash browns," cried the latke. "I'm something completely different." The latke rounded the corner and found itself face to face with a candy cane, which wrinkled its red and white nose at the latke in disgust. "I'm trying to sprinkle the night air with my peppermint scent, the candy cane said. Your mouth-watering smell, not to mention all that yelping, is spoiling the effect. My mouth-watering smell is part of the cozy feeling of Hanukkah, the Latka replied. It reminds us that things are better now than they were in 175 BCE, when my people were not allowed to practice their religion. In order to study the Talmud, they had to hide out in caves, and when they heard Greek soldiers approach, they pretended they were gambling with a small spinning top called a dreidel. Sort of like Joseph and Mary, hiding out in the manger, said the candy cane. Someone should write a Christmas carol about you. I'm not part of Christmas, cried the Latka. It's an entirely different thing. Ah! The screams of the Latka grew quieter and quieter as the pancake ran out of the village into the surrounding forest. Its utter fury was unabated, a phrase which here means the Latka was still very annoyed at the objects to whom it had spoken. But it was quite tired, and so it decided to rest for a few minutes beneath the branches of a little pine tree. The pine tree was napping, but woke up at the sound of an object plopping down at its feet. Are you a present? The pine tree asked. Presents are pretty much the only thing allowed to sit beneath me during this time of year. The Latka sighed. Presents aren't really a big part of Chanukah, it said, in a voice hoarse from screaming. There's nothing wrong with giving gifts to loved ones, of course, but it's more important to light the candles for 8 consecutive nights to commemorate the miracle at the temple and the miracle of victory, even when you are thoroughly outnumbered, so you shouldn't give up hope. Plus, Santa Claus, said the pine tree. The Latka was too exhausted to scream. Santa Claus has nothing to do with it, the Latka said. Christmas and Hanukkah are entirely different things. But different things can often blend together, said the pine tree. Let me tell you a funny story about pagan rituals. But before the pine tree could begin its story, a family came trooping through the snow, searching the forest carefully. Oh, we shouldn't have waited until the last minute to get ready for the holiday, said the father in the family, who was holding an axe. We'll never find a good one. You shouldn't give up hope, said the mother, and pointed at the pine tree. Look, it's perfect, said the daughter. Beautiful, agreed the son. Such a marvelous shape, said the mother. And its skin looks so crispy, said the father. Reached down and scooped up the Latka from the snow. We'll need to reheat it, of course, but this will be perfect for Hanukkah dinner, with a topping of applesauce, sour cream, or even jam. I'll refry it in oil, said the mother, to remind us of the rededication of the temple. And the triumph of Maccabees over Antiochus, added the daughter. And hiding in caves all the time, the son chimed in. The father smiled down at the Latka in his mitten, and then stared curiously at his other hand. What was I thinking, bringing an axe, he said to himself. The family strolled back to the village, walking past all the cottages with flashing colored lights and smiling politely at the candy canes until they reached their own home. The family carried the Latka into their own home, which was warm and cozy, and sat at the table, which was lit with the flickering candles of a menorah, or Chanukah, which is a branched candelabra designed specifically for the holiday. It is very frustrating not to be understood in this world. If you say one thing and keep being told that you mean something else, it can make you want to scream. But somewhere in the world, there is a place for all of us. Whether you are an electric form of decoration, peppermint-scented sweet, a source of timber, or a potato pancake. On a cold, snowy night, everyone and everything should be welcome somewhere. And the Latka was welcomed into the home of people who understood what a Latka is and how it fits into this particular holiday. And then They ate it.
It's not Hanukkah until we get the lava screen. That makes it up. Okay, coming soon. Now that we have your attention. This weekend, Cantor, would you like to say what is happening?
This weekend, it is not too late to get a ticket for the concert that we are having here in our sanctuary on Sunday. It's Portland Chamber Orchestra with the internationally acclaimed clarinetist David Krakauer. He's one of the best klezmer clarinetists in the world. So if you can, please come. It's going to be amazing. And we have people in our choirs who are going to be singing. At the beginning of that concert, it's at 4 p.m. I'll keep going. We are hoping that we will be able to gather again all together for our Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Shabbat service. Of course, last year it was virtual. It was wonderful, but it was all online. And as you know, this is something that brings together the entire community. It's really the largest gathering to celebrate this incredible man and his legacy. And this year we're going to have Reverend Dr. Gerald Durley. I know Ron Silver will be here to introduce him, so mark your calendars for that too.
Also mark your calendars for Taste of Temple. 10 years. It is the 10th anniversary of Taste of Temple, and it's coming back to Temple. So we're going to be in person with protocols in our space. So save the date, February 27th. Kathleen and Matthew Cull were here. I think they had to take the kids home, but they are our co-chairs this year for Taste of Temple. We're so grateful, but thinking about 10 years of this celebration, so it'll be so good to be together and celebrating the restaurants and the wineries and everybody who supported us over the years in building community. So save the date. Information is coming soon.
And on your way out, if you haven't already, we'll invite you, if you would like to sign a petition for ballot measures. There are 2 ballot measures that were introduced by a group of which I'm one of the directors. It is called Lift Every Voice Oregon. This is ballot measures to ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines in Oregon, also to have gun registration. You can read the specifics of it. The signatures are in order to get the measure on the ballot in November of this coming November. So we are just starting to gather these signatures, and we would love to have you among the first ones who sign their names for it, any Oregon voters. And a thank you to our Social Action Committee, and particularly to Sally, who is spearheading our efforts here at Congregation of Israel to get these measures on the ballot in this very difficult time as we're seeing the effects of high prevalence of guns in our society.
But to end on a happy note, we have a very exciting announcement.
Yes, we do. Oh,
Hearing it here first.
am I giving this?
Let's give the announcement, then we can all.
I am. We're really excited about this. Some of you may remember Bernie and Anise Klein were beloved members of our congregation, very active in Torah study and in our Purim spiels.
Friday night regulars.
They were Friday night regulars for many years. Passed away, both of them, over the past few years, and their legacy is a special gift that we are announcing tonight, a gift of camp. For any URJ camp, we are particularly supporting Camp Kalsman in our area, a very strong financial gift to any young person who wants to participate, not just first time, but returning kids as well. This is an incredible gift, something that will be for generations helping to support our Jewish camps, our Reform Movement's camps. The kids who go through these camps, all of Jewish summer camps, come back with their Judaism strengthened, and they become oftentimes leaders in our community and great participants in our synagogues and in whatever community they wind up in. So we are really, really honored that this legacy gift has come to Temple and that we can be part of sending our young people on these amazing adventures.
And this year, what we're doing with this scholarship is every single kid who wants to go to a URG camp, Kalsman or 6 Point Sports or the theater, whatever camp you want to go to, you get $1,000. It's not a needs-based. It's any student who wants to go to camp this summer will get $1,000 from this fund, in addition to other monies that you're applying for to go to camp. So this is huge. We're really excited. Ben, I don't think has a mic over there, but talk to Ben about it, and Ben,
Come
talk to Ben about it. We're really excited to send everybody to camp, go to camp, and we love camp. We know it's transformational. We also know it's really expensive. So it is just so wonderful, as many of us have paid for many years of camp, that we are so thankful to the clients who lead this amazing legacy gift.
Beautiful, beautiful example of what a legacy gift can do for the, a beautiful example of what a legacy gift can do for a community. So we really honor the memory of Maria Denise, and they would be so thrilled to see our young people having this experience.
Very exciting. And we get to keep celebrating Mazel Tov again to the Bush family, Mazel Tov to the Schoen-Hartman family, and we're just so excited to continue Shabbat and bringing in the light through the rest of Shabbat. There's Tat Shabbat tomorrow morning with Kim at 9 a.m. before, and Torah study also at 9 a.m. So, and then there's a program, I don't know if there's still room, there's a
Date night?
Date night tomorrow night for little kids. I think
Still sign
looks
up?
like maybe the Kishinzis are going. They got excited.
It's happening.
So,
Okay, so
very
next
excited. So the fun continues.
Always check our website. There's so many beautiful happenings that are always going on here at Beth Israel. We want you to be a part of this amazing community. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to sing ourselves out with a couple of Hanukkah songs, and I think
Pretty moti, because you're going to get donuts and challah on the way out.
So let's stand up and join it in a motzi.
Enjoy the lights. Chelsea, thank you for an amazing display outside on your way out. Everyone have a wonderful Hanukkah. do an instrument.
Thank you, band.
Thank you. Thank you all.